You know, Lara's slick, but Lara is not as slick as he used to be. I'm going to say that. I'm going to start off with that. This is like, um, off the head knowledge about Lara. Lara had some pretty tough fights. His three toughest fights were Williams, Paul Williams, uh, Carlos Molina, and Alfredo Angulo. Those were his three hardest matches. Okay, it wasn't Canelo. Canelo wasn't a hard fight. Actually, that was an easy fight to score. He could have done more. But the only reason that he should have done more, not because he had to, but he did in reality, because of who he was fighting. He was fighting the cash cow, the most protected fighter in sports today, in boxing today, Canelo Alvarez. So yeah, he had to go above and beyond. He had to do a Paul-like Walker performance to damn near still get a loss or a draw anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, and actually, if that would have been a draw, it would have still been controversy behind it because Lara won the fight. However, that's in the past. All that's done. Okay? It's not what you've done. It's what you can still do. And then you got a guy like Swift. He might not be the hardest puncher, and I don't think he can punch harder than Angulo, but I think he can punch hard enough to, eventually wear Lara down if Hurd fights the right game plan. He has to stay in his chest. He can't let Lara breathe. When he does, Lara's going to think and work on those combinations. Get him off of him and then crack him with that left hard enough to make him think and to make him hesitant to come in. He shouldn't allow that to happen. That's Swift has to be really crowding. He has to crowd him. And I've seen his camp, his training camp. They're on the right track. I don't know what else that they're doing because I only seen little smidgets of what they're doing. I don't know everything they do, but they have Hurd crowding the trainer or the sparring partner, and that's how he should fight him. He should fight Lara in a phone booth. Give Lara no room to work, because if Lara can get out of that corner or get off them ropes, I don't see that there's any hope for him, because I don't see him countering, even with his size and height. Okay, he's so much like Paul Williams. So Paul Williams would be the perfect comparison. The only difference is Paul Williams, I think, can crack a little bit more, but he's just as busy. Paul Williams is exciting because he's busy. Paul Williams won that decision because, first of all, he was Paul the Punisher Williams, the most known, and he threw 1,000 punches. Okay, that's what Hurd is going to do. And how Hurd is going to win this fight, either if he can hurt Lara on those ropes with one of those uppercuts inside that I seen him working on in camp, or they're just going, going because of wearing him down. Due to wearing him down, body, head, uppercuts, working the body. So he has to come conditioned, and I would say Lara missed a step because I seen his last fight live. I was there in the Goucher fight. I seen it live in Brooklyn. And I noticed that, Lara, he's more defensive minded. He's like Money Mayweather, picks his shots, very smart, but he's not taking punishment, but the question you ask yourself about Lara is at what point do you say, fuck it? Let me go for broke. Let me start throwing bombs over Baghdad, and you would want to see that. The fans want to see that. But at the same token, is that the smartest thing to do? Because when I was at that fight, seeing it live, the fight was a lackluster. It was a chess match, okay? You had a skilled, older, seasoned guy beating a young, hungrier guy, but apparently he wasn't that hungry because he got dropped with an uppercut coming inside with Lara. You can't do that. Lara will beat you to the punch. That's textbook stuff, okay? But the most exciting fight was the Hurd Trout fight, and Hurd showed what he was about. Hurd showed that he can take a punch, but he was in there with a dance partner. Okay, it's who you're in there with. He can't do that with Lara. Lara will not get there and trade with you. He gonna hit you with that one, bop, see, gotcha. That's, and I'm gonna do that all night. And I'm gonna do that when I wanna do that. And I'm gonna do that to score meaningfully. I'm not gonna do that to give you the opportunity to get your punches off. I'm not gonna do that. And he's not gonna fight that type of fight. He's not, and I don't see Lara. This is a different Lara. This is not Oro de Guantanamo. This is the American Dream. An American Dream fights a lot different than that first cat, Oro de Guantanamo. People don't even remember that. That was his nickname. Just like Pretty Boy and Money. Okay, Pretty Boy was a savage. He threw a lot of punches. He got hit a lot more than Money will ever get hit. But he still threw a lot. He was exciting. But, a lot of times you have to slow your roll to give you that gain. So you'll have, give you that shelf life. Okay. So you can still fight. Why do you think Floyd was still fighting the way he was fighting? He wasn't fighting the best, but he was still in the ranks. He was still regarded as the best, but he wasn't fighting the toughest guys. However, this is the deal. He was able to still throw those punches and still be accurate simply because this particular guy he took less punishment in the last 4 or 5 fights, of his career. Why? Because of the way he decided to fight. He did not want to throw 70 to 100 punches around because he knows for each time he throws those amount, he's going to get hit 20 or 15 to 20 punches unnecessarily. You got to slow down the boxing, the punch output. And you got to be more precise and more defensive minded. That's what gives you a long shelf life. That's what Lara's doing. So the question is how, I used to see him slicker back in the day. I think he's a little slower, but he's more timid, but that could also be a bad thing, especially when a person's welling on you like Swift's supposed to or should do. So that's my take on it. You guys tell me what you think about Swift, Hurd, and the American Dream, Lara. Leave your comments below. Please subscribe. This is the Ring IQ exclusively, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.